the stones that we will meet in devotional service, in the path of this devotional service, chopping stones, and how we can progress and overstep them. So here, the first item that is developed here in this text, this message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in the society of devotees. So it explains that at a certain point we may be progressing through different processes, being vegetarian, practicing yoga, living celibate in a forest or in a cave of the Himalayan, or practicing this purification, visiting holy places, so many things, bathing in the Ganga and Yamuna. There's so many processes that you get purification of the mind, intelligence, and the false ego also becomes dissolved. But at a certain point, it is described here that the society of devotee is very powerful and gives one the taste for the message of Godhead. Because it is said here, it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. If you are remote, alone, unless you are pretty advanced, it's difficult to relish it on a basis that you practice it on a daily basis. You do it day after day, or we see even in the association of devotees, when we have difficulty to assist Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam classes, to attend these classes, you don't have so many devotees. Also, we read Srila Prabhupada books. It's association with the pure devotee. Through his hearing classes, through hearing his classes, or through reading his books. In order to do that continually, day after day, month after month, year after years, you have to find some pleasure in it. Otherwise, it will. If you don't apply the process properly, it will. You will feel it dry, and little by little, you will abandon, reduce, and then nothing. Because the influence of Kali is like that. It's like oxidation. Whatever assets we got, when we get alone, is very difficult to keep it, and we get oxidized or rusted, and we lose our strength. So here it is explained all the society of devotee is so extremely important from when we want to be really serious in our path of progressing in the path of bhakti. And that's how also we can enjoy life. Because Rajavidyam Parvitam Idam Uttamam Pratyak Savardharmam Susukam Kartum Abhyayam. This knowledge before was given to the high class of people, to the king of the society, for that it could be given part or wholly to the society of the human beings. And it is described as this process, when properly executed, is joyful. Susukam kartum avyayam. It gives joy to the heart. And a joy which is different from the joy we experiment from the contact from the senses with the object of the senses, which is a transitory and illusory joy. Like Prabhupada, when we were seeing the surfers on the sea in Australia, he was saying sea sufferers. But there is also sun sufferers and sex sufferers. Sea, sex, sun. When summer comes, people enjoy. Wow, we are going to enjoy so much. But they don't see that behind it is suffering. Because we just appreciate the transitory pleasure that the sage, they don't care. Because this verse goes, Yei sanspashasha boga yoga yunari. Adi antavanta konteya nateshura mate Buddha. So the sages, they don't waste their time in this transitory pleasure because they know that they have a beginning and an end. And after sometimes you get the bitter taste, the reaction. The body becomes crushed, fatigued, and it takes a long time to recover. So this is what these sections, you get pleasure like that, it's a few hours, and then the body have to recover again. And you don't know, you're exposing yourself to so many problems, breaking your necks, being beaten by sharks. You can have disease, VIH. You can you exhaust your ojas, your immunity against viruses. Yeah, that's the time to speak about it, and against other kind of illnesses. And it takes time to recover for the body. Yeah, and sun. Everybody knows sun in the morning it gives you power, but in the afternoon it sucks you power. And you may get, for long exposure, you might get some skin problems also. So like that, people are in illusion because they take it for granted that only the pleasure, the short pleasure of the contact of the senses, with the object of the senses, this is the aim of life, because they are advertised like that in every billboard, every magazine, every radio, every television, every YouTube, everywhere. It's like that. You are bashed to think this way. So unless you have a superior knowledge, you cannot fight against it. And it's a fact when we are in the company of devotee, just this association gives you faith in the process. Faith is something that is very subtle and is not easy to get, especially in this age. Faith, the best way to get faith is justly by association with the devotee. This is the main item you can earn by just being associated with devotee. You get faith in the process. And faith, actually, many people I've seen in Sankirtans when I was distributing books, so many people, they were pious, and they could feel subtly, and they would pray, I wish I could get the faith you got. How can I do to get the same faith you had? Oh, by what process? How to get that? It's precious faith. Every kind of religious process, they try to induce you and make your faith higher. But how to do that? Not so easy. So here, association with devotee is particularly precious because you get faith, you get pleasure, and you get power, spiritually powerful message. Power comes from association with devotee. More devotee there is, kirtan becomes super strong. Strength. Some analogy was given when we try to cut some little twigs. You do it easily, but when there is a bunch of them, difficult. So we may be like straw on on the street, humble, like straw on the street, little piece of wood, like matches, or cure-dents. One is easy to break, but when you are many, you don't make it. So the advantage, of course, there is also a disadvantage in the association of people. You get things lost. You scratch your head to wonder who trampled my plantation, who came with a tractor ploughing 2 ditches where I planted so many nice stuff. Many things happen. Where are my shoes? Where are my drying T-shirt and kurta? They disappear, and you find them 2 weeks after in somewhere for taking the pot oats. There's so many things happen like that in the company of a community. You can't avoid. It's everywhere. But you have to remind that the advantage of being in the company of the devotee, there is so many advantages. And we should not see the problem inherent of being in community. See the advantages. So in the second part of this verse, it is explained how we can becoming spiritually advanced simply when we open our ears to the devotees. If one hears from devotee, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens to him. And oppositely, if we close our ears, then also we may end our spiritual progress and become hindered. How goes this verse? Je me rappelle plus comment ça. I don't remember. Si tu m'ouvres ton oreille, tous les obstacles de la vie conditionnée, par ma grâce, tu les franchiras. Mais si tu n'agis pas dans une telle conscience me fermant ton oreille, alors tu seras perdu. Comment il va? Atachet Durgana. Voilà, j'oublie mes versets. If you don't, Krishna says to Arjuna, if you don't agree to act according to my wishes, he says first, if you act according to my wishes, all the obstacles in the conditional life will be overcome by my grace. Oh, yeah. Nashroshati, Vinangshati. But if you don't hear with that consciousness, closing your ear, you will be lost. So there's a question of actually when we open our hearing process or closing it, it's a question of false ego, like always. When we accept our false ego to be erased, the consequences is that the process of hearing is open, and we can advance in spiritual life subsequently. When the opposite is there, and we close our ear, it means we act on the platform of false ego, thinking that we are the doer, we are the one who understand, we are the one who is the center, in fact. It is that. And as a result, the process of hearing is becoming closed because your heart becomes closed also. The lotus of the heart becomes closed. And this happens in a spiritual life. And sometimes we have to realize that this is happening and we have to correct it. not to go on this path like that. Sometimes the mind becomes very sturdy and obstinate, and doesn't go easily out of a loop, like a computer. It goes in a loop, blocked, you cannot do anything, crash. We have this example displayed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Amoga, who is brother-in-law or something like that with with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he was looking from some default in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he could find he's eating too much. He's eating sweets like Ramachandra. Ramachandra also, you are eating too much sweets. So many ants are here. See the ants. There is ants everywhere in India. Yeah. Even in the super class hotel, you have ants. So he will find ants in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's house, and he will pick it up. You eat too much sweets. So Amoga was in this mentality also, because the end of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are like shovels. They would serve prasadam, heaps of prasadam, rice. Like the Bengalis, they like rice. A hill of rice they would serve. So he criticized that, and one day Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to eat, and he was guarding the entrance so that Amoga would not come because he was around. And he was obliged to leave, and then Amoga took advantage of it and started criticizing. And it was a blunder. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came and ran chasing after his son-in-law, and he was mortified. He was in his mind for so many days. Of course, this Amoga got sick, and afterward he got cholera actually. And afterward Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and preached to him, and Amoga changed his mind, and he recovered after. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was locked in his mind, and he was so much affected by this event that he became morose. He cursed Amoga to die. He cursed Amoga to die. May my daughter become a widow. He said like that. And it was almost done, actually. But at a certain point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came unto him and chastised him also. Why are you locked in this loop, crushing black ideas always, always, and always? Get rid of this mentality. Just go to Lord Jagannath. Take your bath in the ocean, go to Lord Jagannath and feast. Take plenty prasad. Change your mind. Don't be in a loop. So many people become victim of the mind. They get entrapped in a loop and they got suicide. I had one sister. She got locked in a kind of mood like that, and eventually she hanged herself because she was absorbed in all kind of dark ideas, reading dark books, everything dark. She became dark also. So in our process of devotional service, it may happen that we may locked also in a kind of in a system of ideas that are detrimental to our spiritual life. Because so many things happen because of this event, because we are envious of this, or he is envious of me, or this happens, or this situation, he did this to me, I did this to him. This will always happen in every kind of society, be it animals, human, devatas, or devotees. We should overlook this kind of event and not seek, not look, not forget the ultimate goal of life. Because we may distract us, so many things distract the mind. So like that, so the taste in knowledge will in due course develop into attraction and then devotion. And then spontaneous devotion, which is the entrance for entering the mood of Vrindavan. Because Vrajbasi are by nature in platform of spontaneous flow for Krishna. They are spontaneous. They don't need, actually they don't, they taste any kirtan or darshan or hearing of this Bhagavatam or other books of the Goswami or so many other books of there is also. But to reach this taste is not so easy. We have to see how much taste we have in chanting our 16 rounds. Do we have taste in chanting these 16 rounds? Or after 16 rounds, we do like that? Like after so much exercise. Yeah. We have to see. If it is an exercise, or if we take pleasure on it. We are in the middle, so very often, sometimes we taste really nectar, like 1,000 tongues, 1,000 ears, but sometimes it's dry. We experiment both. We are in the Tatashta Shakti, in the middle of 1 feet in the material energy and 1 feet in the spiritual energy. Then we are able to preach. Because we can experiment one side and another side. We are between India and the West, materialists and the realm of Goloka Vrindavan. So we have to get faith that if you continue the process little by little, will become one-sided. And we will find that the taste from the materialistic activity becomes dissolved and after some time even ugly. How could I be in this kind of state, mental state before? I don't understand. We will think like that. How could I do such things in the past? We are ashamed. But when we are in between, we are not exactly like that. We are sometimes like that, and sometimes we are tasty. Oh, the old taste is there. We had to feed the good dog and starve the bad one. When we contemplate our past life, we turn off the switch. When we chant Hare Krishna and the mind goes in the past, so many other things, we turn off and we bring it back. If we do this process, it's like keeping open our hearing process and allowing our heart to associate with Krishna's heart, which is Krishna's name. And by association like that, little by little, we develop a kind of friendship with Krishna. And we become accustomed to that. And after sometimes, after you can think about the Chichashtakam and Yugaitam Nimeshena, separation, how is it possible when you don't meet? But when you are accustomed to meet Krishna and feel his lotus feet in the heart, after you feel when they are not here, and you feel something is missing. but by gradually associating with the holy name, and this can be done easily, not so easily, but at least in this world it is easy in the association of devotees. It is not so easy even in the association of devotees, but still when we compare, when you lack this association, you realize it is easy with devotees. So there may be some comments or question about this verse. Oui.
The question is, sometimes we can see, for example, Amogas, he was saved by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, despite the fact that Sabha Doma and his family wanted to get rid of him. And he says because the answer was because you are Amoga was the friend or part of the family of the devotee, so it was his reason to save him. But for example, we have Giri-Govardhan, he was the friend of Balaram. We have Kamsai was the friend of Akru. It is because Chaitanya is more merciful than Krishna that he can save even
Yeah. Krishna made this arrangement for Amoga to get sick, and it's very relevant nowadays because so many people are becoming sick. And he became humbled, and he became thoughtful. He understood he did some bad things, and he understood he had been offensive. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed up and preached to him, he changed completely his mind. So the illness was good for him in order to recover his spirit, to see things in the right perspective. So similarly, when we are attacked by such plague like that, people are more able to see things in their right perspective. And they are prone to be attentive, and the process of hearing becomes possible. For us, it may be a test, this forced chaturmasya in a way, to stay, wait. But the after results is good because people will have more tendency to hear. A cure of austerity is necessary to get disintoxicated. So our preaching will be greatly enhanced after all these problems. We may suffer, lost some devotees, it will go on, but it's going on anyway. But we have to see how the process of humbling people is going on now, just right now. People are losing faith in the materialism. We just have to take the place so that they could place their faith in the preaching process, in us, in our message. Every diet and every things a practitioner of medicine gives to a patient is heavy, is hard to bear, not easy, not agreeable. But you are obliged, you have to follow, then you get the result also. You get cured. If you are forced to be cured, in a way. because humility is practically the compulsory quality to develop in order to practice spiritual life in the long run time. If we are not humble enough, we will be shooting stars, firecrack. You make sparks, but after sometimes nothing. Have to see on the long run time. And Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishtu Namane Namanalina Kirtanya Sadahari. This recipe is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you want to chant the holy name long time, not stopping, you have to be humble like a blade of grass. This is the recipe also to stay in the association of the devotee. If you are not humble, if you don't support the crazy things, this, but you concentrate on the aim, the ultimate goal, then you can go through so many obstacles like that. You don't care it's happening, this, that, but you go outside, it's happening worse, 10 times that. But you don't see because you see the check at the end of the month, and the enjoying spirit makes you forget all the problems you undergo in between. So humility is really the recipe to stay in the association of devotee, because it keeps you aloof of the offenses. You don't take them on you, and you try not to give to others. And like that you can practice the chanting of the holy name, and you can stay in the association of devotee. It's simple. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna. Oh.